Hi guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Timeless Cranes Origami Review. Today we're going to be discussing the Origami Angelfish. This is a traditional model and it's pretty simple, but it's my favorite fish to fold. And I have one here, but I also have a mobile of them, and that was the inspiration for this episode. I really hope you guys like this episode, and make sure you watch to the end so you don't miss the bloopers. You know what, this is a fun fish and I really want to talk about it. So, in 2009, I had a customer order a mobile that had tropical fish. Now they wanted fish that were specifically the fish that you could find in the waters surrounding the Hawaiian Islands. So I had to do some research. I had to find out, what fish do you find there? And then I had to go online. I had to find instructions and models and diagrams for these different types of fish. And I ended up folding a lot of fish for that mobile, a lot of trial and error. And in the end, I found that out of all these fish I folded, and there's a lot of them, out of all the fish I folded, the one that I enjoyed the most was the angelfish. And it's a traditional model, it's a simple model, but it has a lot of character and I really love it. And I especially like when you get to use different types of papers, different patterns and prints, and it can give the fish a whole different look. A lot of the models that I ended up folding for that mobile came from the internet, and I also got some from this really cool book, Origami Sea Life by John Montrell and Robert Lang. And this book has kind of more challenging models, and I was able to use some of these fish. The angelfish I ended up using for that mobile, I actually had to color some stripes on it. And I don't usually color on my origami paper, but in that case I had to because it was a mobile that was supposed to be as realistic as possible. In the end, he told me that he hung up the mobile and it was an area where there were mirrors on 3 sides, and it multiplied. It made it look like there were hundreds of fish in that area, and he really loved the way it looks. So I'm happy he was happy. For those of you that saw last week's episode about the origami octopus, you might remember me talking about the color harmony paper and how there's, different colors on one sheet of paper. And I really love using that paper for the angelfish and a lot of the sea creatures I fold because it brings so much more life and color to the mobile. So just like last week with the octopus, we're going to be using color harmony paper. We're going to start with a bird base. So once again, you want to make sure that the edges are flush. So just like with the paper crane and the octopus, when you fold this to the center, you don't fold it all the way to the center. You just fold this edge close to the midline, but you still want to leave that little gap in between. Otherwise the paper will bunch up on the later steps. Once again, you leave a little gap. Now this is where the model changes. So from here, we take the regular bird base and we open it up the other way. And now this is going to be the head of our fish. These are going to be the fins, and these are going to be the tail fins over here. Now we're going to make the tail. The easiest way to do this is to fold this flap all the way up. And make a crease there. And then fold that across to one side. And then unfold it and fold it up the other way. So now we've created this crease, and we are going to push that out and push these in and create that petal. Smush it down one way. And then fold it up. And you want this edge right here to be parallel with this light colored edge. So there's one side. Now you'll notice that because of the way we did it, we left a very strong crease right here. So when I do it, when I make the tail, I prefer to do it differently. So I avoid making this center crease right here, or at least it doesn't become nearly as prominent. So what I do instead, and take this out, and I'll show you on the other side. So what I do is I take this flap, and instead of folding it that way, like I did on the other side, I fold it inside like this. So I fold it between the layers. Like that. So when I collapse and you'll notice that it doesn't have that sharp line here like you see on this side. Alright, so now let's put this fold back in. So the way I do it makes it a lot harder, but I just do it because I don't like that crease right here. Now these next fins are a little bit harder. So we have to open up the top, and we want to move this reverse fold and line it up right here with this center line. Line this edge up with the center line. And just collapse that, like that. And now we do the same thing on the other side. So you open it up, reverse this crease, and line it up with the center crease right there. See, we have a straight line from here down all the way to the end. Now, you open this up, and then we reverse the top, and you walk this fold all the way down. Reverse that. Now the other side, same thing. Open up the fin. I want to reverse this crease. Kind of push it all the way down to the edge of the fish right here, and push it back. And there you go. Now, something I like to do with this model is I do use glue on this, and I put a little dot of glue right in here, here, and here, and then I put a paper clip right here to hold it together, and that'll glue the fin together so that from the rear it won't look like this. You see they go like this. So I don't like that, so I just glue it all together so it stays straight. So you can actually change the way the fish looks. So if you want these fins to go higher, you kind of just tug on them and open that up a little bit. And also the tail fin, depending on how you tug it, you can change the angle of the tail fin. So it could be much more open like that. Or move it back down to the position it was in before. I honestly do not remember how I learned how to fold this fish, where I found the instructions. And doing research for this episode, I could not find diagrammed instructions anywhere. I did find a website where there was a series of photographs showing step by step how to fold it. Be sure to check the description for the show notes below. You're going to find links for any instructions, any diagrams. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. You don't want to miss next week's episode. Share with your friends, tag people. And also, if you have any questions, anything you want to know about the angelfish or origami or my work in general, just let me know. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye! In 2009, a customer ordered a mobile that was again. He wanted fish that you could find from the route. That sounded dumb. Okay. It's such a pretty fish. I love it. Not that many bloopers this week. Sorry, my cat was sleeping. This is the best fish ever.